Well, welcome.
Hi, nice to see you. I just hello. Hi, Rosemary. It is nice. Watch me all. Actually, this is going there. She's laughing. Thank you.
Yes.
Did I get it all? I'm going to see. Okay, great. Thank you.
Water. Somebody get some hot water, please.
Dr. John?
I mean, I think. Oh, it's just like, you know. Good. Yeah.
page 89. Page 89. 89. This book is something else. So just go ahead and stop it.
Amber, if there's another one, I'll take it. Amber and I'll use it.
Or anybody who knows, if you, I can stop it. Akandamandalakaram vyaptam yena characharam tatparam darshitam yena tasmai shri gurave namaha anyanatimirandasya jnanam yasharakaya chakshurum nidhitam yena tasmai shri gurave namaha Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwara Gurudeva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sthavaram Jangamam Vyaptam Yat Kinchit Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Chinmayam Vyapiyat Sarvam Trailokyam Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sarvashruti Shiroratna Virajita Padambujaha Vedantambuja Suryoyaha Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Jnana Shakti Samarudhaha Tatvamala Vibhushitaha Mukti Mukti Pradata Cha Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Aneka Janma Samprapta Karma Bandha Vidahine Atma Jnana Pradhanena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shoshanam Bhavasindhoscha Jnapanam Sarasampadaha Guroh Padodakam Samyak Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Radhikan Tattvam Na Guroradhikan Tapaha Tattvajnanat Param Nasti Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mannatha Shri Jagannatha Madguru Shri Jagadguru Madatma Sarvabhutatma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Gururadiranadirishcha Guruh Paramadaivatam Guruh Parakaram Nasti Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Brahmanandam Paramasukhadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasyaadilakshyam Ekam Nityam Vimalam Achalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Satgurum Tam Namami Tvameva Mata cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Welcome, Namaste. Welcome to the second class of this wonderful text called Bodhasara. Where is the first class? It is archived somewhere, so you can listen to it. You can get the details of how to catch up later on from somebody who seems to know what they are doing. And so this just to catch up from what we did last time, Bodhasara, the essence of the wisdom. Bodha, knowledge, wisdom. Sara, essence. Interesting. Rasa, when you do it opposite, when you flip the things, rasa also means essence, sara also means essence. So the essence of the teachings. And of course, essence of the teaching means, like we have this thing called, what is that? True essence of rose. It comes in a tiny bottle. To see the bottle, you need a what is that? Microscope. Yeah, you need a microscope or even or better magnifying glass. Because it's this tiny thing, and at the most 1.5 drops of this rose attar. What is that? That sense, that essence of the rose will be there. But here Bodhasara, big book, certainly don't need a microscope or some kind of glass to see it. So it shows that even though it's titled Bodhasara, the essence of the wisdom, and it is 1,000 pages long, more than that, which means what? That the knowledge is so deep, so profound. If this is the Sara, if this is the essence, imagine if how infinite the knowledge must be. That is why it is titled like that. It is a purposeful title just to show the grandeur of the knowledge. And then about the author we know next to nothing, because other than his name, Narahari, and the time period, because one of the earliest manuscripts was found, I told you the date, 1798 or something like that. So it's a recent, it's a recent treatise on Vedanta, and just to show that the lineage is not static by any means. It's not that the teacher-student lineage is stuck in a time warp. This is what people think. People think that along with the lineage, the teachers are also stuck in a time warp. Yeah. And then, that is not called a lineage which does not constantly update itself. Yeah. So in fact, that's how these computer programmers learnt this, how to update these apps that constantly update. The original app was the Apta. Apta means the knowledgeable teacher. From Apta has come this word app. That's all it is. This is all the result of letting me loose in a science, technology and spirituality conference. You have to bear with the consequences, what to do. So that is not a lineage which cannot and does not update itself. It has to, the teachers are not teaching, people, in just air, People are real people. In real time, in that particular time, in that particular space, in that particular society, the knowledge comes out in that particular way. And so this book is a wonderful, understanding of how the timeless knowledge is also very beautifully showing the nuances of the time, of the times in which he lived. It's very beautiful. So the teaching is, the teaching is not updated. What is updated is the manner in which it is delivered. Perhaps the examples, perhaps the teaching cannot be improved upon. Yeah. The manner in which it is delivered, is made to interest the people, because already this is not something that everybody is interested in. Don't go by the people attending today. Yeah. So this is not something that people are suddenly interested in. This is something. It's a sacred knowledge for which the interest and the desire is cultivated. It's cultivated. The desire is uncultivated, of course, but the desire to study is cultivated. And the fruit of this knowledge, which is the desire to be free, that is uncultivated. But the desire to study comes out of that first desire, which is naturally there in everyone. So the desire to be free, but then you ask the question, free from what? Then immediately the answer comes, free from the boss. That's all. At work, I should be able to do whatever I want. So how do you do that? I work from home. This is what people say. I work from home because I don't have to deal with the boss. This is a wonderful thing for a lot of people right now. I want to work from home. I want to have a sense of freedom. This is some people. Other people will say, I want to go that, what is that? Like a spider, bungee jumping, That is freedom. And somebody else will say, I want to glide in the sky. Confusing people, what new species is flying around. That is freedom for some people. And for certain others, freedom is going to a mall. Freedom is going to a ball. Freedom is doing all kinds of things. And nothing wrong in those definitions of freedom, but those freedoms are what? They are finite and time bound. But then you ask the person how long you want to be free, they will say what? Forever. When do you want to be free? All the time, not for 5 minutes during the spider exercise, Yeah. Not for 5 minutes, not for 10 minutes. I want to be free forever. And I want to be free now. And I want to be free fully. And I want to be free all the time. It's not just for 5 minutes. And so there comes a kind of a discrepancy, because all the activities that I design for myself to gain this so-called freedom, all the actions make me more entangled in this soup called samsara. That's what it is, And how do my activities make me more entangled? My activities make me more entangled precisely because action produces reaction, fruit of action, result of action. Action being finite, result is also what? Finite. You can never produce the infinite, thank God. Yeah. Because otherwise you'll have an infinite complex, Infinite is not a product, it's you. And so it has to be discovered. So really speaking, one has to have a cognitive shift in seeing that this is something to be discovered. And when that cognitive shift comes, there is another shift that happens. And what is that shift? The shift is from action to knowledge. That is the shift. Because the more I act, the more I interact, the more I react, all these actions, what happens to them? They produce this huge, mushroom cloud. Yeah, that is what happens. Because I want something, I go after it, I don't get it, I get upset, I get angry, I use more actions, and still I don't get it, and so on and so forth. Or I get it, and once I get it, I don't like it. This is one's problems. Therefore, there is a saying, be careful what you ask for. Why? Because you may get it. Yeah, that's the whole thing. Because sometimes we don't know what we want, because whatever we are asking for, whatever we think we want, is not what we want, really. What one wants really is to be at peace with oneself. Total contentment. And this contentment is not something that you can just go buy from the market. You know? You can't. And you can perhaps for 5 minutes, but that's not that's not the contentment that I'm looking for. So therefore, if it cannot be bought from the market, then where is it? It is wherever you say I am, that is where it is centered. You know? It is you. That contentment is you. So it has to be understood and discovered, for which this Bodhasara and other bodies of knowledge coming from this philosophy called Vedanta exist. And so therefore, it is not easy to develop a desire to know. It's not easy. And that has to be, that is the main hallmark of this teaching. And so the text itself, is so powerful that it helps, bring forth the desire to know. And also, along with the desire to know, there are certain other, preparations. A mind that is relatively quiet, a mind that is, resolved, a mind that is not always reactive, a mind that is not always suspicious and doubtful. What are you saying? How should I believe you? Why should I believe somebody who is speaking some strange language? You will hear some of it. And why should I do this like this? All these questions come. So a mind that is, not given to suspicion. Shraddha, that is what we call a mind that is filled with a certain kind of a desire to learn, and along with a desire to learn, a certain reverence for this, an open-minded reverence that, okay, maybe there is something here for me to look at. Let me at least make a few attempts, So this is what all it needs. So therefore, this, knowledge is not that popular. Yeah. Because it's not really, the teacher is just half the job really. You can have, you can command the best of teachers, but without the desire to learn, without the desire to know, it will not give fruit. You see? So therefore the teachers, the lineage constantly updates itself. Precisely because of this problem of not being understood. What is not being understood? Myself. Oneself is not understood. That being the primary problem. And the second problem is, because it is not understood, it is taken for something other than what it is. I'm sick, I'm sad, I'm mad, I'm bad, I'm so and so, and I'm unemployed. This is the way people identify with them, with themselves. Who are you? I'm unemployed. So you are joblessness itself. You are joblessness personified. Think about it. I'm blonde. This is another thing. Yeah. I'm just some yellow hair. That is all I am. I'm a bunch of yellow hair. And that is at least slightly better. At least there is some bhava. Bhava means existence is there. And think of the person who says, I'm bald. I'm a bunch of non-existent hair. So you define oneself by abhava, non-existence. Yeah. So these are the kinds of things. And why do you say this? Well, because that's what I am. Are you really that? Do you feel happy saying I'm bald? No, I don't feel happy, but I still say it. Then why do you say it? Because that's what I am. This is going in a circle, you see? Yeah. Is that what you really are? Well, no, I'm other things too. Then why are you focusing on this? Because that's what is the most apparent. That's what is right there. I am is not subject to doubt. Are you here? Of course. Yes, I'm here. I am is not subject to doubt. What is subject to doubt is the next question. Who are you? This is the problem. And this is why the lineage has to update itself. Yeah, because who are you is not understood. I am is understood, but that I am becomes a, convenient scapegoat for all kinds of mistakes centered on the I. And these mistakes, if you look carefully, are the opposite of what I want to be. I am a mortal. What do you want to be? I want to be forever. Yeah, I want to be forever. I recently learnt that somebody was having some terminal diagnosis of cancer. Somebody was told, and they said that with chemotherapy you can extend the life for 2 years. It's terminal, but it's not such a fast growing tumor. 2-3 years you can live. That person said no, not because of any reasons that one might be wondering about, but because they had read somewhere that once the person has taken chemotherapy, and after chemotherapy when the person dies, the person looks very bad. But the dead body is very bad to look at. I don't want to be bad looking when? After death. So therefore, I will not take chemotherapy. This is an extreme example, but I recently heard it. I couldn't wait to share it with all of you. So because I just recently heard it. Because it surprised me. This is how it is. So therefore, we have to understand that this identification with the body, mind, sense complex is all pervasive. It's not that only in Eugene I'm having body identification, and if I just go outside, Eugene is small, 15 minutes in any direction, you're in another town. So I just have to drive 15 minutes here or there, go to Junction City, that's not what's going to change. There also, if you interview people in the Junction City also, they will also say that I am as good as the body, I'm as good as the mind, I'm restless, I'm angry, I'm as good as the stomach, I'm hungry, This is what the answers will come. But those are the very things that one rejects. I don't want to be restless. I don't want to be having a sense of lack. I don't want to be judgmental of myself or others. I don't want to be any of these things. Yet the quandary is, I can't seem to get out of that. And therefore enters Bodhasara and other such texts that make this whole situation relevant to the people in that particular time, in that particular place. So the knowledge is, because already one is, coming with so many crosses, what is that? So many, what's that word I'm looking for? So many crosses. Huh? No, like already one is coming with, no, not baggage, like so many things, like one is coming from this, so many challenges. The challenges,
Crosses to bear.
so many crosses to bear, so many challenges. That is the one. The bear, the bear forgot. The bear got forgotten. Yeah. So many crosses to bear, And also one more example, one more phrase was there. So many strikes against them. That is, the strikes became the crosses. Yeah, that's what it is. So many strikes against them, the person is already there. Because one cannot intuit oneself, because one is oneself. When there is no other way of understanding this really, I have tried, there isn't. Yeah. You just have to take my word for it, and we so that we move on. That's all. Because there's no other way to understand it. Because the problem is one of self-ignorance and a mistaken identity. Yes. We keep talking about identity theft, and we get very worried. Somebody is stealing those numbers, social number, and somebody is stealing my name. Actually, the identity theft happened a long time ago. Yes. That I think of myself as a miserable fellow and identify as such, when knowing fully well that's not right. Identity theft has happened. And we know who is the thief. Yeah. A lady by the name of Maya. Yes. Yeah. But why don't we imprison her? Because we are ourselves in jail. How can we catch and imprison her? Yeah, Maya means here ignorance. Avidya, another lady, same thing, Yeah. So this is, she is the cut purse. and she has, stolen stolen the identity. And I'm born in ignorance. This is perhaps what in Christianity is called the original sin. I don't know. I'm born in ignorance. That's the only thing that can be an original sin. This is a Vedantin's view of Christianity. So therefore, this is what is the whole thing. I have to see that if the problem is here and now, the solution also should be here and now. If you say I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, nobody should tell you that wait till you go to heaven. After that there will be lot of wonderful, horn of plenty, lot of things will be there to eat. Yeah, you'll feel like eating that person who said that. Oh, but I'm thirsty. No, wait till you go to heaven. There is wine flowing and there is fruit juice, soma juice, whichever form of heaven you take. That's not going to work. If the point of life is afterlife, then why is there life? If what needs to be achieved, if the contentment, if the fearlessness, if my identity has to be reclaimed, you cannot say you learn to drive here and you'll get your driver's license in heaven. That's of no use. I want the reward now, because in this body I feel trapped, in this mind I feel trapped, in this society I feel trapped, in this community, in this world, I experience this feeling of being bound to this body, mind, sense complex, and I experience everything as finite right here, right now. If there is such a thing as infinite, it should be given to me right here, right now. Nobody should say wait till you go to heaven. And that's why this teaching needs to come in, because I stand in my own way. I come in my own way to understand that I am whole. I come in my own way. Perhaps I have some kind of a non-dual experience. I just suddenly feel like time has stopped, place has stopped, everything is all one, and warm flowing feeling comes inside and I feel one with everything. That's okay. But then what happens to that feeling? It's gone. Yeah. The feeling comes away, peeling. The feeling peels off. Yeah. Like the paint on the wall, after a few years it peels off. This is also some kind of a oneness experience that peels off. Yet it is very appealing. I don't know why. Even though it is finite and it peels off, it is very appealing. And so therefore this fixation on the experience. One is an experience hunter, looking for experience. It's like a hawk, flying overhead. And what does the hawk do? Keeps looking. There it is. Some mouse or something. And it just dives, catches and goes. This is really everyone's situation. One is an experience hunter. And one feels, mistakenly so, that by collecting a lot of experiences, what happens? I become infinite. I become infinite. But those experiences are also finite. One experience is finite. A collection of experience, collectively also it is finite. Individually also the experience is finite. After that one is left with oneself and one has to live with this mistaken identity. And sometimes what happens? The person comes, because of some grace operating over time, the person comes into a teaching situation such as this one. And then what? There also, because the orientation is to look for experiences. So before the person was, looking for experience out in the world, in what we call the Jagat, in the world, and coming here to a spiritual situation, one is still looking for experience, albeit a spiritual experience. Everyone wants to have at least one, in their lifetime. Hopefully more, but at least one I must have. you know. And so what happens is that, you know, that's fine, go and have it, no problem, you know. It's whatever experiences you have is not outside outside the ken of this knowledge. It's not outside this knowledge. It's not opposed to this knowledge. It just reiterates what we are, you know, what we are all about. It reiterates the truth of the self. That's what it is. And the knowledge, you know, in every experience has to be understood in order to make something out of it, correct? That's why people come to me and say, I was meditating, suddenly I started to shake, and suddenly something happened, blue light, yellow light, and so many things I saw. What does it mean? So they come to me and ask, what does it mean? So again, we have left the realm of experience and we have entered the realm of what? Knowledge, self-knowledge. So every experience by itself, it doesn't speak, it is mute. You have to understand it, and again you are already in the realm of knowledge. So basically, what we are saying is that we are not opposed to experiences of any kind. But what we are saying is that those are not lasting. What is lasting is the truth of the experiencer, the truth of the experience, which is one and the same. For any experience, that subject-object merging has to take place. For an experience of oneness, there should be a subject and object merging. And when the two merge together, there is an experience. How long are they merged? Until they fall apart. Yeah. The definition of sanyoga, coming together, in Sanskrit, very interesting. You know, viyogantah, sanyoga. Sanyoga, coming together, viyoga, drifting apart. Every coming together is just, what is the definition of coming together? Until you drift apart. Yes. That's what it is. Not till death do us part. Yeah. Until one drifts apart, one is together. So really speaking, this whole thing is very, very interesting, because it's a series of all kinds of paradoxes. And, you know, one paradox is this duality. Here we are into the business of non-duality, how everything is one we are going to study. How are we going to study? By creating one more duality. Guru, teacher, and then Shishya, the taught. You see? We create this duality purposely, and in fact it's the last frontier of duality. Because all the other dualities are subsumed in this connection for the sake of the knowledge to take place. And when one understands that I am whole, regardless of whether I am having an experience of wholeness or not, I am whole. When that is totally understood. And even when I am having experiences which are cut up into pieces, I am still whole. That wholeness is not opposed to any kind of fragmented experiences. When I know this, then what Guru, what Shishya, you know, what individual, what total, it is all one. So therefore, the whole thing is full of paradox. That self which is self-evident, I know I am, is taught. And so like this, so the teaching situation keeps speaking to the people at hand. And if the teaching situation, if the lineage migrates from, you know, the eastern shores of India to the northwest, let us say, you know, if it migrates, then there is what? In that migration, there is more updating that is taking place. Yeah. You know, there is American English, which is very different from Indian English. Correct? Yeah. And plus all the idioms and the phrases, very different. And so that is called teaching which is able to make you see, what the teacher sees. That is what teaching is. It's not some kind of a message that you are different and everything is different from you. The teacher is different from you, the text is different from you. For that you don't have to come here to learn that. We already know everything is different. It is that oneness that one seeks, and the oneness that is shown in so many, there are infinite possibilities of how the teaching manifests. But all of them have what is called ekavakyata, a unanimity in the message. Whether it is taught in the United States, or whether it is taught in South America, or whether it is taught in China, there is a unanimity in the message. The way of delivering the message may change, may update itself, but the message itself is not changing, because you cannot improve upon that which you already are. And so here in the Bodhasara we have a beautiful, cross section of the socio-cultural milieu of pre-British India, just on the cusp of the British colonization. And here we see some wonderful metaphors and from some wonderful ways of understanding, which are slightly different from the other texts that we have studied, and which bear upon the vision from slightly different angles. And so we've already done the five verses which are considered Mangalacharana. Mangalacharana means blessing. Yeah. So now we'll read those that we have studied. There are a couple of two or three things that I want to add to that. And then after that, we will go forward in this text. So let not the Sanskrit intimidate. You follow if you can. If you can't, you just be with it, no problem. And don't worry, because I explain every word. Yeah, no word goes unexplained. So not to worry. Just enjoy the Sanskrit, because it has a certain lilting musical quality to it. Kinchit kutuhalenaiva vidusham priyakamyaya mangalacharanam kritva bodhasaro nirupyate ananta shakti sandoha purnasya paramatmanah Vigna vidvamsinim shaktim Ganarajamupasmahe Ya prakasha vimarshabhyam Swarupavasthitin gata Smaramitamaham bhaktya Jnana Shaktim Saraswatim Shri Gurun Paramananda Swarupan Abhivadaye Tapatrayapaha Yesham Kripa Brahmamrita Prapa. You can see how lilting it is, and he has employed a lot of figures of speech, like what is that? Alliteration, lot of alliteration, and there's a lot of wordplay as well. And we have seen these are like a blessing verses, because every endeavor in our tradition is started with a prayer. Without a prayer it is not there. So he prays to in the first verse he just talks about his intention, and even in that intention He talks about the audience, he talks about the subject matter, he talks about the purpose, and he talks about the manner in which it is going to flow. Everything is talked about. And then in the next 3 verses, he takes blessings from the Lord in the form of the power to remove obstacles. The power is feminine, and so it is very beautiful that whole, there is a very abiding presence of the feminine here in this text. And then after that, Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge. And here is what I wanted to add to this. So Ananta Shakti Sandoha, no, not that one, the other one. Ya Prakasha Vimarshabhyam Swarupa Avasthitim Gata. The one who has attained her nature, her Swarupa, her true nature, through understanding the truth of herself by self-enquiry. That's Saraswati. So here very interesting, because the idea is, if Goddess Saraswati, who is the embodiment of knowledge, if she had to, if she wanted moksha, if supposing she were ignorant, which she is not, this is a hypothetical thing, we cannot even imagine Saraswati being ignorant. That which is ignorant is not the goddess of knowledge. But here, the very embodiment of knowledge, if she wanted to free herself, she would also go through this. So of course we feel very good when we hear this. But then there is a little bit of a kind of a little shout out or a little jibe to the Yoga Sutras. In the Yoga Sutra, the first Yoga Sutra is Atha Yoga Anushasanam, nothing much there, because this now I am going to explain the Yoga Sutras. The second one, Yoga, the definition of yoga, Chitta Yogas Chitta Vritti Nirodha. It is the stopping, it is understood as the stopping of thoughts. Stopping of thoughts, because the problem with my mistaken identity is thoughts, correct? Yeah, because I'm thinking myself into finitude, really. I'm as good as the body. Isn't that a thought? Say yes, come on.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm as good as the mind. Yes, it's a thought. I'm short, it's a thought. I'm fat, it's a thought. These are all thoughts. So the problem is with the thoughts. Therefore, remove the thoughts, you will have instant enlightenment. This is a wrong understanding. The sutra doesn't say that. Yeah. The word nirodha doesn't mean stopping always. You have to see it in context. And also, can you stop thoughts? No. Say no, we can go down. You can't stop the thought. How can you stop the thought? Because even if you say, I want to stop the thought, then you're left hanging with that thought which wants to stop other thoughts. That's what will happen. Oh, here is a thought. Okay, I should stop the thought. Oh, there it goes again. So therefore, unless we think of some lobotomy or something, there is no way to stop the thoughts. And lobotomy means permanently vegetative state. Okay, that's what the line which comes in the monitor, like that. So that's not the way to stop the thoughts. Thoughts cannot be stopped. Thoughts need not be stopped. And the fourth sutra here is that drashtuhu swarupe avasthanam. Yeah. Drashtuhu, in the seer. Seer means who? The one who deploys all these ways of knowing and seeing. I. Swarupe avasthanam. Avasthanam, abiding. Abiding in my own nature. And of course, since that sutra comes, that aphorism comes right after the one that says, stop all thoughts and abide in your own nature. This is very misleading, isn't it? If I could abide in my own nature by stopping all thoughts, I should just go to sleep. Yeah. In sleep, are there thoughts? No. Let me think about it. Are there thoughts or not? No. Okay. So then there is no problem either. And so all thoughts, I'm not there, okay? I'm not there to enjoy this, sleep-like enlightenment, enlightenment like sleep. I'm not there to enjoy it, but so what? I just go to sleep. That's not possible. I have to wake up, I have to deal with all the things. So, drashtuhu swarupe avasthanam. Abidance in the nature of the seer, in the nature of the one who is, dealing with the world from the as a subject, encountering various objects. So how is that accomplished? Because see, the sutras means aphorisms. The aphorisms are not, long statements. They are pithy, small statements. And so here, the author Patanjali of the Yoga Sutras doesn't have time to talk about all these things. So somebody who's unfolding the sutras has to fill in the blanks. And if you don't fill in the blanks, it looks like this. Stop all thoughts and abide in yourself. Meaning, one is the cause, stopping all the thoughts is the cause of abiding in one's own nature, which is infinite and wonderful. So that doesn't do much. So, but there is a kind of a pervasive misunderstanding in many students of this Yoga Sutras, that stopping the thoughts is the way to enlightenment. And here he uses the same word. Consider this: drashtuhu swarupe avasthanam, swarupa avasthitim gata. So how did Saraswati gain enlightenment? The same way you have set about to gain enlightenment. Same way. It's not that there are different rules for Saraswati. Even if Saraswati came and said, hello, I'm ignorant, she also needs to go through the same things that you are going through. Then there is a lot of happiness. Like, thank God I'm not alone. I'm in good company. If Saraswati should do this, would have done this, then this is not a problem for me. So I wanted to bring in the Yoga Sutras of that one. So then the last one, he reveres the teacher, because in these kinds of in this business, the teacher is given importance. Rightly or wrongly, the teacher is put in the forefront. And why is the teacher put in the forefront? The teacher is put in the forefront because the teacher is the tour guide of this journey. Comes for free when you buy the cruise. You buy the Vedanta cruise, and the teacher shows the way of where to get off, what to avoid, what to eat, what to drink, how to lead the lifestyle, as long as one is on this on this boat. And what is this boat? The boat is the one which is trying to make its way out of the troubled waters of samsara. Very good. So this is a cruise ship. That's all it is. So in this cruise ship, you can't just go on the boat by yourself, because you don't know how. Even if you know how to sail the boat or drive the boat or whatever, row the boat, whatever it is has to be done, it's difficult because you don't know the waters. You don't have the compass. You don't know where you're headed. There's just the boat, that's all. So you need the person who is the ferry person. The one who ferries you across this cruise. And the nice thing is, you don't pay for the ferryman or ferry woman, as the case might be. It comes for free. The cruise is also free. The cruise out of samsara is also free. In fact, I'm digressing, but that's okay. In fact, there are two boats. One boat has many stops. It shows you little few things here and there. And the other boat goes straight out of the water, straight to the shore. Correct? And then at the beginning you can decide which boat you want to go on. Even in the middle you can decide, no problem. There's this little ferry that joins to the other boat. One is the express. Ferry express. Fast boat out of samsara, and the other one is a slow boat out of samsara. But no problem. There is no wrong choice. Slow boat, it's nice because you get to see a few people there. In fact, all the people are on the slow boat. Just a few weirdos and geeks are on the fast boat. That's all it is. The fast boat represents taking up the path of no return and just going, full-fledged, gung-ho, into this knowledge and saying, I'm suspending other activities and going only for this knowledge. That is the fast boat. That's why I said just a few weirdos are there. But the rest of the normal people are on the slow boat, okay? Yeah. Because they want to stop. They've come all the way. They want to see a few more things. It's not easy to be born, Yeah, and once being born, it was so hard. So many things, breech, birth, C-section, this section, everybody has a birth story. Yeah. Sometimes that thing gets, what is that? The umbilical cord. Even before one is born, one has this feeling of feeling choked and strangled. Everybody has a traumatic birth story. Yeah. If they don't, their mothers definitely do. So once you've been born with so much difficulty, might as well see a few things. Might as well just stop here, see some people. So the next stop, get married. Next stop, have a few children. Next stop, send them to college. And then aram se come back here. So, there's no problem. So there is the slow boat and the fast boat. Regardless of whether you take the slow boat or whether you take the fast boat, the truth is you need somebody to guide the boat. You need someone who has a compass on the head and who never loses the way. In other words, who is more dependable than the pole star. And then the one who is, able to row you out of samsara. And in the process of rowing you out, sing some songs, they are called bhajans, has some Q&A sessions, they are called satsangs, and then has a few stories and teaching, and so you while away the time very nicely, regardless of whether you are in the slow boat or the fast boat. So therefore, since the boat, the waters of samsara are not, everyone's, forte, it's not easy to, because there is seaweed of despair which just encircles the boat and puts it in a permanent spin, correct? And there is the undercurrent of anger, individual and collective, and there are sharks of doubt, those little black triangles going round and round. Stingrays, very funny animal. Yeah. That also I've had a close encounter with, yeah. Yeah, Namaha. Yes. So stingrays and all these things, see, this is the sea world is a totally different universe. All kinds of things are there. And many of them are very scary, and this boat adrift. This is what the whole thing is. The person has been adrift and praying, save me! Where are you? And that prayer is answered with a big net. Yeah. A safety net, one is fished out and hauled into the boat because one asked. One asked, I want to cross this ocean already. How many times I'm here? This feels like a deja vu. I don't think this is my first time. I think these black triangles I remember from another life. Except in the last life there were fewer. Yeah. So the teacher comes for free. You don't have to do anything. Yeah. Boat is also free. But if for those people who think, I wish I had just the boat, that's not an option. Yeah. The tradition is such that the boat comes with the driver. Like in India, until recently, one was not because of some state law, one was not allowed to rent a car. If you rent a car, the driver comes along, one chauffeur comes. Yeah. You cannot, rent the car. Now, all these companies, what is that? It starts with an H. Hertz. Yeah. I knew it wasn't hers. Yeah. So Hertz has gone there, and some other people have gone there, and they are experimenting with this. But you cannot, if you rent a car, the driver has to come, and the driver's fees are also included there.
That's where they call it hurts.
Pardon me?
That's why they call it hurts. It hurts in your pocket.
Hurts, 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 very nice, yeah. So that's the thing. But here there is no hurt at all, yeah, because here it is a guided cruise. Regardless of which boat you take, it's a guided cruise, a very entertaining guided cruise. And so we start with what is called, the next chapter in this book is called Guru Stava, not Guru Tava. Tava means griddle, okay? We're not putting the Guru on the griddle. That's not the idea. Stava. Stava means from stu, the root verb, which means the praise of the teacher. Now, why should I praise the teacher? Because without the teacher, this crossing is impossible. Because you've tried many times. In fact, you didn't want the teacher. Yeah. You didn't want the teacher at all. You tried different ways, many things, many lifetimes, and now you are so desperate. You means the collective one. One is so desperate that one is ready to entertain the possibility of a teacher. This is what the whole thing is. And so, that being the case, the teacher is given prominence because the teacher is the guide which steers the boat, who steers the boat through various obstacles. The aforementioned sharks, correct? Yeah, sharks, that eddies, undercurrents, riptides, tsunamis, and sometimes in the ocean there is that, what is that called? Not whirlpool, the storm, tropical storms and hurricanes, typhoons, hurricanes, so many things, yeah. Like this Life of Pi movie, yeah, So you need the teacher here because the way is fraught with a lot of doubt, vagueness, error. You need a guide. And in praising the guide, in the praise of the guide, what we gain is that the teacher is not flattered. The teacher does not go, "Ha, wonderful, at least now you know my worth." No teacher says that. Because the one who knows their worth is called teacher. That is what this knowledge is all about. So why do we praise the teacher? It's like, it's like someone praising Einstein, a non-physicist. Someone who is wondering how to spell physics. Is it F-I-Z-Z, or if, what is the, who doesn't even know what is the phys in physics. If that person praises Einstein, is Einstein going to get carried away? No, because that praise doesn't mean anything. And Einstein doesn't need to be praised. Someone of that stature already knows who they are and they are secure in themselves as far as physics is concerned. Other things they may not be secure, but that's not our problem. So then what is if the praise is for that person to hear and feel happy. If that person is not needing to be made happy, if that's not the need, then why praise the teacher? You praise the teacher because the teacher is non-separate from the knowledge. And the teacher is non-separate from you, really. And you praise the teacher because in the praise of something, then that path will have more value. That's what it is. You praise the knowledge, you praise the teacher is the embodiment of the knowledge. The teacher has already crossed and knows all the different ways through this horrible ocean, And so, in the praise of the teacher, the desire to cross it becomes more stable, and the confidence in crossing it becomes more stable. I have the feeling I'm in good company. If this is the person leading me out, oh, wonderful. And here, the praise of the teacher has a twofold purpose. One is that we learn the importance of the teacher in this kind of a very tricky endeavor of, jumping off of samsara, samsara ocean. Then the second thing we learn is that the praise of which teacher? This person who is writing the text. Who is he? Narahari. Narahari is praising his teacher. And when we see the praise of the teacher, then what happens? Then we think, if the teacher is so illustrious, then from this person who has written this text, definitely I am happy to learn. You see, there is a double meaning here. Plus, of course, what is in the background? This is what is in the foreground. What is in the background is that the prominence of the teacher is because the teacher is non-separate from the knowledge. So therefore it is called, this chapter is called Guru Stavaha. Stava, stu, to praise. So I'm not checking my email. I brought the commentary, and I told you this is what happens if you send me to a science and technology conference. So I have the commentary here. So I'm going to be looking at that as well. Madamohabhidakrura Madhukaitavajishnave Mokshalakshmi Nivasaya Namah Shri Guru Vishnave. Very beautiful. Yeah. Madam, cha, moham cha, madamoha, madamoha abhidha, madamoha abhidha, madamoha abhidha, yasya, madamoha abhidha. This is how it is broken up. Don't worry about it. I'll explain everything. So, here, this first verse says, why does it say 5? Oh, those other 4 are also counted. Oh, so this is not a separate chapter. Oh, it's a section. Okay, we can regard it as a little paragraph, section. Okay, so it's not a chapter, it's a section. And so, Mada means that which is, what is that? That Mada is, come, sit, you can come. Madayati. Mada means that which distracts. Vikshipati, distracts. Mada is that which distracts. Mada also is pride. So both those things, because pride, there's nothing that distracts more than pride. Correct? Yeah. So Mada is pride. Mada is a distraction. So that which distracts. So Mada and Moha. Moha means delusion. Delusion about myself, delusion about the world, delusion about the cause of the universe, delusion about what? The relationship of all these things. So, Mada and Moha. Abhidha. Abhidha means called, named. So, that which is called Mada and Moha, that which stands for, no, not called, here stands for, that which stands for Mada and Moha, in the form of these two demons. And what are the names of the demons? Madhu and Kaitabha. Madhu is the name of one demon and Kaitabha is the name of another demon. In the Puranic stories, we have a certain body of mythological stories where the right wins over the wrong, dharma wins over adharma, etc. And in those stories, the Lord Vishnu is credited with killing these demons, and we don't have a concept of evil or devil, please understand. These demons are nothing but one's own pride and one's own distractions. That's what it is. So he killed these demons means he has freed, us potentially to not have that. So we can conquer that in us with the grace of Lord Vishnu. This is what the whole thing is. So that is the idea. So there are some stories, we are not going to go into all that. But the Madhu and Kaitabha. Madhu means honey. Yeah. Which demon is called honey? In which literature? Why is the demon called honey? Because he appears very, very sweet. And you can overindulge. And here Madhu is ahankara. Ahankara means that I notion. And that I notion will tell you all kinds of things in a similar way. What will it say? Well, this is you were not treated very well. Yeah. See? You were treated very badly. Oh, I don't think so. I think they were just, perhaps they were having a bad day. No. Before you were treated badly. This is how sweetly it speaks to you as it deludes. Yeah. See, you never get what you deserve. Really? Yeah. You think of all the things you have gone behind and pursued. Have you got any one thing? Yeah, that's also true. I haven't got anything. See, such a big lack you have. And see how easily you are taken advantage of. Yeah, that is also true. This is how one starts believing all these things. So very sweetly it deludes. Therefore, this ahankarakhya, this madhu is called honey because it stands in the place of the I notion, which deludes you to do all kinds of wrong things. Like that pilot who wanted to kill himself, but also took down 149 other people with him. Senseless. That's why it's called madhu, because it appears to be correct, and it appears to be pure, and it appears to be right. So that is what, Lord Vishnu is credited with killing. Madhu and Kaitabha. But here, Kaitabha also is another, idiotic demon who does idiotic things. All within. There is no demons without, really. All demons in the Hindu mythology, in the Vedic mythology, are all what? Various unsavory emotions and, emotional states of being. Disastrous, dangerous emotional states of being. And so, this Lord Vishnu, who has killed, here is a pun. The pun is what? This Vishnu is my Guru who has killed my ignorance and my ahankara. And that is the Guru that is worthy of following. That is the Guru that is worthy of being the boatman for me. Boatman or boatwoman. Here the Guru, his Guru was masculine, male. So therefore it is in the masculine. Let us take a short 5-minute break, stretch, and then we'll come back. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Yeah, just five minutes, just go up and down if you need.
Swamini, I'm not sure that Maya's really what you said.